Hey guys, so Barnes & Noble just opened up a store in my city, Brownsville, so I thought it'd be really cool to demonstrate how I built a bookshelf with just one sheet of panel in under $70. Let's get started. Okay, so here's the front elevation for the bookshelf. Its shape is essentially a square with a rectangle on top of it. The master height of the shelf is 6 feet. The dimensions for the square is 2 feet horizontally and 2 feet vertically. As for the rectangle, from the top of the square, the height is 4 feet by 10 inches wide. The shelves that run up the rectangle are going to be 19 inches long by 7 inches wide with the 7-inch overhang and will rise 6 inches from the top of the square. This is the side elevation. Not much to look at here. The master depth of the bookshelf will be 10 3/4 of an inch thick, with the sides for the square being 10 inches. Okay, so I've got my plans here. I've got the 4x8 sheet of panel. I've got my tool pouch, I've got my brat nailer, got the compressor set up in the background, circular and jigsaw. I'm ready to go. I started off by making latitude and longitude lines by measuring and marking 2 feet horizontally from the bottom and top left sides of the sheet and 2 feet vertically from the bottom left and right side. Afterwards, I used a chalk line to connect my points. The result was a 2 by 2 foot square. Next, I measured and marked 7 inches from the top left and right of the square and 7 inches from the top left and right of the sheet, then connected my points with a chalk line. Afterwards, from the bottom of the square to the rectangle, I measured and marked 6 feet on both lines and connected my points with a pencil. The result was a 4 foot by 10 inch rectangle. Now it's time to cut it out. With the combination of my circular and jigsaw, I was able to cut out the piece. A 2 foot by 2 foot square with a 4 foot by 10 inch rectangle above, totaling a height of 6 feet. And as you can see, I still have plenty of material left over. Everything is going according to plan. What I need now is the sideboards for the square. Since I have a total depth of 10 3/4 of an inch and a height of 2 feet, I need 2 boards with a height of 2 feet and a width of 10 inches. Fortunately, your standard sheets of panel, OSB, sheetrock, etc. comes with a width of 4 feet, so I'm able to make a 10-inch row on top of the sheet and cut it right down the middle, resulting in 2 pieces of the required dimensions. Now that I have my pieces cut out, it's time to attach them to the sides of the square using a brat nailer, 18 gauge nails 1 1/4 inch long, and some wood glue. Okay, so the sides are already up. And as you can see, I have a total depth of 10 3/4 of an inch. Everything is going perfectly. The next step is to cut out the top and bottom boards. Since I have a width of 2 feet and a depth of 10 3/4 of an inch, I need 2 pieces of those dimensions. Like making the sideboards, I can grab from the top of the sheet, make a row of 10 3/4 of an inch, and split it right down the middle. Okay, so I already have both pieces cut out. I want the top board to wrap around the neck of the bookshelf, and I'm going to do this by notching out a piece the same width and depth as the rectangle. First, I'll start by placing the board on top of the square, flush on both sides, and butt it up to the rectangle. Then, I'm going to make pencil marks on both sides of the neck to receive my width and have each mark sink into the board 3/4 of an inch for my depth. Lastly, I'll cut out the piece using a jigsaw. I've already made the notch, and as you can see, it fits perfectly. So, with nothing standing in the way, I'm ready to nail. This is a demonstration of what I have so far. One thing I forgot to account for was the thickness of the panel, adding 3/4 of an inch on the top and bottom of the square, making the height a total of 25.5 inches. A little disappointing, but it doesn't make much of a difference and it still looks great. Now it's time for the most appealing part of the project, the bookshelves. Let's go ahead and recap on the plans for the dimensions and layout of the shelves. Each board will be 7 by 19 inches, that includes a 7-inch overhang, and will have a rise of 6 inches. Upon transferring my layout, I saw that I still had plenty of room on the rectangle for more shelves. It appears that I have made yet another miscalculation. Fortunately, I still have plenty of material left over, and more shelves would make the project better in both appearance and functionality. I've already attached the first board to the rectangle. I went ahead and made a triangular support piece and placed it under the board to prevent it from wobbling. I got the dimensions of the triangle by measuring the distance from this point to this point, and from this point to that point. I managed to put all the boards along the rectangle and carry the bookshelf into my house for safekeeping before retiring for the night. This is what I have so far. It's a brand new day and there's still work that needs to be done. I'm going to take the project back outside and move on to the last phase. The final phase consists of covering the edges with a 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch trim. The trim will be made by passing a 2x4 through a table saw. I now have all my ribbed pieces ready. I'm going to set up the brad nailer, pull out some wood glue, and finish this project off. There it is, guys, a demonstration of how to build a bookshelf with just one sheet of panel in under $70. Hopefully this inspires you to build your own, or at the very least, pick up reading. Thank you guys for watching.